Hey guys, it is I, Varmalus the Malicious. Now, a lot of you know that I have been gone from YouTube for a very long time, and I'll bet you're all wondering why I have been gone for so long. Well, the short version is I have spent these past 8 months on a long quest for redemption and closure. The long, and I mean very long version, well, it's pretty goddamn long, so loyal viewers all pull up a seat, sit back, relax, grab a snack, and listen to the story that I have to tell you. To explain what I've been doing recently, I have to go back far away. A long time ago, trillions of years ago to be exact, in a different universe, there existed a world that you may know as Arda. Arda was a world that possessed many lands and many continents, one of which was the land of Middle Earth, which most of you may know as the setting for John Ronald Reuel Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and The Silmarillion. But it was a real place inhabited by an evil creature whose very existence created war and misery across the land. No, not that guy. Not him. This guy. Morgoth. Who is Morgoth, you may ask? Well, now we're getting interesting. At the beginning of time, there was a celestial being known only as Eru Ilúvatar. He created a race of spiritual beings called the Ainur. The strongest and most intelligent of the Ainur was Melkor, the man who would become Morgoth. Melkor enjoyed traveling outside of the home of the Ainur into the Great Void, where he had hoped to find the Flame of Anor, the substance that granted the Ilúvatar the ability to create life. Melkor's obsession with the Flame of Anor could be compared to Darkseid's obsession with the anti-life equation, but I'm getting sidetracked. One time, the Ilúvatar had told the Ainur to sing to him, claiming that all the tunes and lyrics of their songs would lay the foundation for a new world that they would create. Melkor, whose morals and philosophies were drastically different from his fellow Ainur, wove his own three themes of strife, discord, and greed into the music. This embellishment led to an imperfect world in Arda, where evil and corruption would prosper as well as compassion and love. When the world was created, the Ainur, who had renamed themselves the Valar, descended upon the world. When they did so, Melkor had betrayed them, laying siege to all their alterations of the planet, believing that he should be the one to own the world and not them. But he was ultimately driven away by a Valar named Tulkas. The Valar created the island of Almarun, where they lit the two lamps that would give light to the worlds, and would soon create the kingdom of Valinor, whereas Melkor would create the base of Utumno, which would be led by his infamous lieutenant Sauron, who was one of the Maiar, the servant race to the Valar. The Ilúvatar had created a dormant race of beings called the Elves. However, Melkor found most of the elves and would transform them into his own soldiers, the Orcs. The Valar would defeat Melkor and imprison him for 3 ages. After he was released in Valinor, Melkor would betray his people yet again by attacking the race of elves called the Noldor. He murdered their king, stole 3 powerful magic jewels called the Silmarils, and destroyed their most sacred monument, which was the 2 trees. The son of the slain elf king had named him Morgoth, which in elf tongue means the black foe of the world. After this event, Morgoth would establish a new base called Angband, located in the north of Middle-earth, and forge the Silmarils into a crown. For several decades, the Noldor would wage a highly destructive war against Morgoth's army, which also saw the rise of men, some of which joined the elves and the others joined Morgoth. The war took its toll on elven society, completely destroying all the remaining elven kingdoms and reducing them to nomads. The event that helped to turn the tide of the war happened when a man named Beren and an elf maiden named Luthien infiltrated Angband and stole one of the Silmarils from Morgoth's crown. Baron and Luthien's granddaughter Elwing, along with her husband Erendil, would take the Silmaril to Valinor as an offering to the Valar to help them end the war with Morgoth. The Valar intervened, and Morgoth was finally defeated. The monsters who served as his soldiers, such as the dragons and the Balrogs, had scattered themselves across the world, and Morgoth himself was exiled from Middle-earth and the world of Arda in general. He was cast into the void, where he would remain until the end of all things. Eventually, his disciple Sauron would try to carry out his work, but he was destroyed in battle by a man-warrior named Isildur, who took Sauron's ring as a trophy and... well, I'm pretty sure you can imagine what happens next. So I bet you're wondering why I pretty much went over all that information. Because it's related, you see? After Morgoth was sent into the void, he managed to use one of the Silmarils on his crown as a last-ditch effort to get himself out of his current predicament. He opened up a portal into an alternate universe, a universe that was ruled by the Great Old Ones, including me. He set his sights on the planet Yith, seeing as how he needed someplace to stay to recover his strength. He traveled to the capital city of Nakotis, and slowly started to subjugate the entire Yithian population. The Great Old Ones realized this, and so we traveled to Yith to free the Yithian race from his control. Our war with Morgoth lasted for centuries, and by the time it ended, the Yithian civilization was in ruin, as was their population. Since so many Yithians had been enthralled into Morgoth's army, we remained on Yith for thousands more years, helping the Yithians to rebuild, repopulate, and even restore the capital city. But Morgoth still lived. He realized that the Great Old Ones possessed power that he had not had in eons. But the one god amongst the Old Ones that he could not control was me, Jigmartos. My friend Dagon had come to me in a dream and told me that Morgoth had faked the deaths of all the Old Ones. As far as I remember, all of my fellow Old Ones had died of supposed health problems, but it was a facade. Morgoth had captured my friends, my brothers and sisters, so that he could use their life force to restore his own. The only reason I'm still alive today was because of the sword that I had acquired during my service to Hell's army. The Sword of Eternal Flame, grafted from the tooth of Cerberus by the demon Astaroth, had kept me alive for millions of years. And now, we come to the beginning of my adventure that I had been away for so long. Tune into part 2, and I'll tell you everything that's happened to me since my disappearance in November.